the dollar is hitting the roof. It's getting to 14 Ghana cedis. Not yet. 13 something at the exchange rate. That is, if they want to buy, they buy less than that. But if they are selling to you, that's what the Forex bureaus and the outlets and even the Goro boys around airports, Newtown, Tudu, etc. And I'm sure in many of the communities around Kumasi, Takrady, you know areas where Forex is being exchanged. That has hit traders so hard, they've decided to agitate. That agitation has led to a second day closure of shops. And this is no mean a place where these closures are being undertaken. It's the central business district of Accra. And this follows sharply a one that was also undertaken by the traders in Kumasi. But we ought to know the vice president, who is the head of the economic management team, had promised that the dollar had been arrested. Well, we'll have soon an interaction. Also joining us will be the General Secretary for the CPP, and Nanaya Chempim Jantwa will be joining us. But let's have a recall from the Vice President, Dr. Mahmoud Baumia, on his utterances before he came into government about what the interpretations are about the exchange rate, its link to the economy and its performance.
In an open economy with market determination of prices, exchange rate movements are the most important indicator of underlying macroeconomic fundamentals. As the saying goes, when in doubt, observe the exchange rate. The lesson from history for governments is that you cannot manage the economy with propaganda. In fact, you can engage in all the propaganda you want, but if the fundamentals are weak, the exchange rate will expose you. The type of free fall that we are seeing with the cedi exchange rate is a vote of no confidence by market players in the management of the economy. Indeed, many market players presently are pricing goods with the expectation that the exchange rate is going to be 2 to 1. It is almost there. The scary part of this is that we are only just past the first quarter of the year, and we have 3 more quarters to go, and the situation could therefore get worse. This development is not fair to the private.
And if you do a comparative analysis of how the cedi so far has traveled, you'll find that the Bretton Woods institutions and currently the finance minister leading the team with the IMF and having that compact or the agreement being approved will give us a certain perspective about where we are currently. And at the time the vice president was speaking, even though he was in opposition, they're not yet vice president, the cedi had not traveled this far. As at the close of the evening, this is what we had of yesterday. If they want to buy dollar from you, an ordinary me, they will give me for $1, 12 cedis, 80 pesos. That same person would have to then sell that dollar to myself if I want it back in that instant at 13.5 Ghana cedis. I mean, this one is, it also means that if the fundamentals of the economy are weak, this exchange rate of 13.5 Ghana cedis will expose how well we're managing the economy. Nanaya Achempim Jantwa is General Secretary for the CPP. How are you?
I'm not
Since the last 7 days hasn't been good. We're just on an upward trajectory. What do you make of the economy currently? Guta is on strike. They've locked their shops. That's the heart of the economy, the trading economy.
They don't even care that. Roland, good morning.
Good morning.
Good morning to everybody. Good morning.
You're in a very sorrowful state.
Yes, I'm sad because looking at these figures, Ghana is sick. Our economy is in doldrums. I mean, you can't understand how this should be. Good morning to your viewers and good morning to my CPP comrades. And good morning to my beautiful sisters here. When I entered, Laratu was trying to make some sense of somebody being picked to...
Oh, that's Captain Spant.
Yes.
Please be straightforward. He's our colleague here at Odia.
Okay.
He was picked up late in the evening when he was going home.
He's even, he's with us. Me, I'm a media person. So he's our colleague. He was picked up. You see, this draconian style of doing things, they should stop it. It is not the best.
It's not 1980.
I mean, these are the Revolution Day style. You don't pick people up in the middle of nowhere. It's even scary. I mean, whatever it is, we don't know why he was picked up. But at least there should be some civility to it. Do we even think about us? The psychological trauma that he will go through, no matter who you are, if you are picked to that place, you will not be yourself anymore. I mean, why should that be? Because he made a comment. If he made a comment, there are institutions that could deal with it. We have the National Media Commission. He's a journalist. When he goes there and truly what he said is not true, they will deal with him. There are rules and regulations to that effect. So I believe that we are all Ghanaians and we should be treated as such. You should be treated with care. Even though the journalists have responsibilities, they are also the mouthpiece of the people. And everybody should. You see, when these things happen, it sends very wrong signals to Ghanaians that something is happening and we are not safe and all that. We should not allow these things to happen. On the issue of the exchange, the
traders,
yes,
the exchange rate. There's so many things to talk about regarding the economy. Go ahead.
My dear, the exchange rate is not easy. This one hasn't broken jail. It has gone amok. It has gone amok. The cedi, the dollar, it has gone amok. It is just going. Nobody can. You see, when somebody breaks jail or an item breaks jail, you can rearrest it, find that object, whether it's a human being or whatever, and rearrest and make sure that you station it. This one has gone amok. There's some madness in it. There's craziness. It is gone. It is going. And there's no effort whatsoever to bring it back to book. It is a very dire situation that we are looking at. That if somebody, as I said, had $100,000 in January, it was 600,000 Ghana cedis. Now the person has 1.35 million Ghana cedis. Without doing any work, just keeping the dollars. Without lifting a finger. Products are so expensive. A crate of eggs, which used to go for 20 cedis, in July, is now 48 cedis, getting on to 50 cedis. Goods and services, prices of goods and services keep increasing by the day. The cost of doing business has become so expensive. Roland, it is not funny. And Vice President Bawumia, at the time, he said that when the fundamentals are weak, the exchange rate will expose you. But they do not understand, they do not want to agree that the fundamentals was weak from the very beginning. They started in IMF. We didn't think that we would end in IMF. Now they started with IMF. Me, I will say in. They started in IMF. We are ending in IMF. And it's even as if that the IMF themselves are not too comfortable. I don't know what they have seen. They said it's a process. I do not think they are even comfortable. You see, this is as a result of clear mismanagement of the economy, where we spend more than we earn, where our expenditure is higher than our income and our revenue, where we go through a spiral of reckless borrowing without even thinking about what we have to do with the money, where we consume, we do not do investment, we do not produce. The Vice President himself, when he was in opposition, said that it is a lazy man's way to develop an economy through taxation, they are going to depend on production. Roland, where is the production?
That's 1D1F.
Where is 1D1? 1D1F is a non-existent phenomena. Where does it exist? True 1D1F is industrialization of the nation being led by government. There is this charade of 1D1F being led by the private sector. Who has more money to industrialize? The government has more money to industrialize. Kwame Nkrumah did it. The CPP did it. We industrialized this nation for nothing at all. We have to go back and see some of the sites, some of the factories that Kwame Nkrumah built. You go, the shells are sitting there. You could redevelop it. Because we set up factories in the area of where the resource is, so that whoever is running the company can get the resource. For instance, you set up a factory in Akomadan because of tomato, you do tomato puree. So you needn't go transporting.
Well, there's a confit juice and all that. It's the same model.
Please, my dear, that is the only thing they talk about. Where is the confit juice? Where is the product? Where can you find the? You see, when they say confit juice, I have been going round on a Hajj around all the shops. Yes, I'll be going on a Hajj around all the shops to see where I can find the confit juice. I see more series. I see more of these foreign drinks than the confit juice. It's a Dansoman.
Don Simon.
Don Simon, yes, those ones. Me, I don't drink them. I see them. Where is the confit juice?
Confit juice vans are all over the place. Even when you go to just buy conference center.
Which shop?
There's a
which shop?
there. They're in shops. I see them in shops.
Juice?
Yes, I'll get you some.
Because maybe a confit juice, they can only be seen by the eyes of
confit
those.
Juice an example of 1D1F.
Because they are always talking about confit juice. They say that is the size of Calipo. They are always talking about confit juice.
That's actually a competitor. Calipo. Competes with Calipo.
Not
Don Simon
and Calipo was very popular before.
That is what I haven't seen a confit juice anywhere. But even if confit juice, this is me. You say you bring, but you can get it. It's possible they send some to you.
I get it in ordinary shops.
Me, I haven't seen a confit juice. But that is the flagship. But only a confit juice cannot deal with the situation.
It's a holistic approach.
It's a holistic approach.
So you're claiming that government's policy has failed. I give you a minute, then.
Yes, why not? It has. Now they are saying that we can do whatever we like. We can go ahead and vote for whoever. We don't care.
Yeah, the president said that in Kumasi. But we're told that it's to the generality of Ghanaians. Gabi, yesterday when I had an interaction with the president for Guta, Dr. Joseph Obeng, and you know, at one time, Guta even decided to reduce their prices. Spare parts at Abosokan.
Yes.
When government came in,
yes.
you know.
They even did it in Kofo's time, if you remember. They reduced their prices.
And he said they went to meet the Council of State. And from what the Council of State were telling them, they were not convinced. I'm asking you, shouldn't we have rather the finance minister, should we have leading members, even the president, meeting these traders? Because it's at the center of the economy, the retail economy we're talking about. As you want to add on to what Nani Adjant was saying.
From where she jumped off. This thing about a confit juice. You see, a confit juice.
It's your regional.
It's in my region.
Okay.
And it's my region. And it is helping pineapple farmers. I agree. I accept it. But we are trying to address an importation problem and a forex problem. A confit competitor is Calipo. Calipo is already produced in Ghana. So you just have a made in Ghana product competing with the made in Ghana product. The real one that is coming in is Don Simon and Series. Which of these companies have you empowered to be able to produce liter tetra packs to compete with Series and what's it called? Don Simon. We had Fratelli.
And
have you attempted to do something for them, which is produced by the same company that does Calipo? We used to have Minute Maid from Coca-Cola. Eventually, couldn't survive in this economy because Series was so strong in this economy. If you want to transform the economy and really do something with your one district, one factory, those industries ought to reflect our importation bill. That is where the challenge to the city really is.
Because you are allowing a lot of importing.
Yes.
And a lot of these things you are aligning, the real economic actors who are managing these economies, I'm very sorry I have to say this, they are foreigners. and the money is going out. We are, I don't know if it is a witchcraft that is our problem, because we hate seeing our own people prosper. So when the Ghanaian attempts to do something, the first thing we do when we come and meet them is to try to clamp them down. And at the end of the day, we all suffer in the end. Guta started making these complaints 2 months ago. I was on this same platform with Bella there. And yet, Council of State were the ones who saw the need to meet with Guta when they first threatened to close shop. None of President Akufo-Addo's ministers paid heed to them. Not even the Minister for Trade, who has also laced his boot to come and contest as a presidential candidate. In fact, as I've already said, all the people Akufo-Addo has lined up to succeed him are all men of questionable characters. And I pray the people of Ghana do not make the mistake of bringing us any of these old men again. We are fed up with them. Baumia, Alan Chairman, Minister for Agric. Do you know, it wasn't this program. This morning, I was listening to a program on the planting for food and jobs. Do you know that currently, Peasant Farmers Association are complaining because last planting season, they supplied the farmers with some seeds which did not germinate, maize seeds. They gave them 2 varieties. One germinated, the second didn't germinate. They pumped fertilizer, which has increased from 180 cedis to 350 cedis for the 50-acre bag. And you need one of those bags to deal with 1 acre of maize farm. In the end, we are still back to having a challenge with something as simple as maize production. The price of kenke is not even going down anytime soon. When Council of State asked to meet Guta, according to Guta, it was the technocrats who the ministry sent to come and meet with them. If you bring directors from Ministry of Trade and Ministry of Finance, they don't control the governor at the Bank of Ghana.
They are just emissaries.
They are emissaries. Go here, do this, do that.
They are like diplomats.
That is all that you get out of them. You're the ones who are handling the real political economy of this country. You could not even pay heed and give them the dignity of an audience. Today, it's not just Guta that has shut down. Yesterday, the Food and Beverages Association also threatened through a statement that their solidarity with Guta are also closing shop. And if they close shop for even 3 days, we will starve here in Accra. Who is going to give us rice, sugar, oil, tin tomatoes? Where's it going to come from? And then let's even go to tomatoes. Under this so-called one district, one factory, and import whatever.
No, but
do you know?
We have planting for food and jobs.
Do you know?
That's where tomato falls under.
Do you know that currently, last in 2018, Ghana was doing $90 million of tomatoes from Burkina. Today, Ghana is doing $400 million of tomatoes from Burkina. Why do we have fertile soil? It is laziness and lack of vision of leadership. When I was coming, I was reflecting on the Bible verse. Bible says, "For lack of vision, my people perish." Today, I have felt that Bible quotation more than ever in my life. When you are under an inept, a corrupt, a nepotistic, a weak government like President Akufo-Addo's government, followed in tow by Baumia. Now, after you people, don't bring that man here as any president. Alan Chairman, or say whatever his name is, who Akufo-Addo is refusing to reshuffle. Because according to him, these people helped him in 2017, 2018, 2019. It was none of these people who did anything for the economy of Ghana. It was the 2 oil fields that came on stream that saved the economy of Ghana. Today, without any additional oil fields, you see the state we are in?
We're in Washington. We're discussing issues of how to have an agreement.
Let's even talk about Washington. When we told them to go to the IMF, what did they tell us? They will not go to IMF today. They will not go to IMF tomorrow. Today, they are sitting at the doorstep of IMF doing till daybreak until they get money to come back to Ghana. Kenoforiata is not coming to Ghana. Without that $3 billion from the IMF, we have nothing. Our cedi is going beyond the 3.5. Yesterday morning, it started at 13.1. By close of day, it was at 13.52. This morning, it's going to go higher because there's nothing shoring up this currency. For the God knows how long I've been alive, my leaders have been making so much noise about the structure of the economy. And to this very day, we still have conversations about what is wrong with the structure of this economy.
Laura,
don't break Laura, I have not finished.
I give you 1 more minute. Just 60 seconds. Please land.
Don't laugh.
Gabriela. Gabriela, land. Thank you.
No.
Laura,
Baumia
60 seconds.
Must answer his 170 questions because
the one he gave to
Emisata has proven himself right. When he said Baumia should ask better questions next time.
We're not done with this conversation.
All his theories have proven to be whack.
On the corridors of government,
you're just coming to worry.
Is there effort to make sure that Guta and the concerns they are raising, because Guta plainly is one concerned about the astronomical rate at which the cedi is racing with the dollar and how they say government is not dealing with that problem. Two, government through the GRA has introduced a tax policy or a tax handle that they say they didn't have a lot of input or buy-in. Are we making effort to meet them halfway or fully?
Roland, trust Gabi. She's in a campaign mood, so we can understand the energy. But in all that she said, before I even go ahead with your question, in all that she said, sitting here for the biggest opposition in power, what alternatives were given?
You're in government.
You're in government.
I think we have to be fair.
Oh, yes, you're in government. You can give me time to give you alternatives.
No. I'll come to you next.
I am prepared to give you alternatives.
Gabriela, don't run me down today, please.
None. What do economists say with everything that they do? Ceteris paribus, all other things being equal. And we are all aware that we are not in normal times. And I keep saying, admission of the problem is part of the solution. And we admit we are in very difficult times. The issue with Guta, Guta has their own issues. They are right in the decisions they take. But who wins? They don't win. The citizen doesn't win. Government doesn't win. Dialogue is the way. Closing the shops will not solve. If you listen to their statements, they made reference to the issues happening across the globe, what COVID came with, and the war, the Russia-Ukraine war. And they were emphatic that it doesn't look like there's an end in sight. So Guta is equally worried about what is ahead of us, which is fair. But they've also been agitating for some time now. I don't know, there have been a lot of agitations about foreign involvement in the retail sector. These are issues that they've been raising.
For which government has failed to act.
For a country that depends mainly on imports, and 70% of our raw materials are equally imported. I don't think anybody should be surprised with all the trade sanctions that are going on across the world, all the issues that are going across the world, that the dollar is galloping. It's not the best situation we find ourselves in, but it's the times we find. Are you saying that we're not alone? When obviously we don't live on our own. It's a global issue.
Our currency is the poorest
Anaya was
across the world.
Talking, she made reference to the fact that industrialization is the way, but in another breath talks about 1D, 1F that has failed. From President Nkrumah, who was deliberate about industrialization. After him, we can talk about the DIC that came and diversified most of those industries. President Kufuor came with the special initiative. And if you remember,
they all collapsed.
If you remember Agua. But there were other issues that they dealt with. They were not so deliberate.
Agua was
about
on trade, it was commerce, it was
yes, but
industry.
Agua was also to enhance. What do you trade in?
You find out our performance.
It
was so abysmal.
The past government before we came, that
you mean 6 years ago?
Yes, that came. There was the Kumasi Shoe Factory and Commander Sugar Factory that we are still trying to revamp. So
after 6 years.
After all these things, you know, that industrializing, even with our pharmaceutical industry, until COVID, we could take care of less than 30% of our needs. COVID shot it up with all the border closures and all that. They picked up, and now we can do close to 45%. So equally important, even with your pharmaceuticals, you're closely dealing, looking at imports of about 60%, 65%. So it's like the fundamental thing is what our tastes are, what our pricing are, what has been done on the side of government. The finance minister, I mean, there were cuts in spendings. When you come to the BOG, the Monetary Policy Committee has been working on those things. They raised the base rate a couple of times, made auctioning of the currency one of the things to cushion bulk oil producers. I mean, if you are a country that is a price taker, those are some of the interventions.
So my question is, how is government meeting Gutta halfway? That's a question. All this preface, that's introduction. Let's get to the meat of the matter.
It has to be dialogue. It has to be dialogue.
Who is in charge of monetary policy? Ms. Lord,
who is in charge of monetary policy?
Ministry of Finance, Bank of Ghana. The minister is in Washington, the Bank of Ghana governor also alongside.
Roland.
At the end of the day, who is meeting Gutta fully or halfway?
Roland, government is not an event, it's a process. They are different.
The city is running on.
They are different.
As if they don't care.
Nobody has designed, nobody has denied that the city is running, and nobody has claimed they are not worried about this. The city is running. It affects all of us. But the fact is, are things being done about it? Yes.
What is being done? Gutta says you are doing nothing about it. I'm not the one saying it. We speak to Gutta all the time.
It's not even Gutta.
Please, don't interject.
No. What else can be done apart from putting in the measures that BOG is putting in? Who has access to these forex exchange? Who gives money to the... Last week, you were making light of BOG going after black market operators. But that is one of the solutions. Access to the currency is what also makes it run. The black market, we are talking about the forex exchange rate being 12.1. You go to the black market, it's higher.
If you in government, you are lamenting. Then what should we do?
I'm telling you what has been done so far.
What has been done? Gutta says that, let's not be emotional about this.
Oh, come on.
Gutta has been ranting for the last 3 months.
Yes.
And the city has been on a downward spiral. We've passed the 40% mark since January. And Gutta for the last 3 months has been lamenting, giving us the warnings. And now we've come to a head. They've closed all shops. And this is at the heart of the retail economy of Ghana. It's not just in Accra. Gutta, in their response, after they decided to close their shops, say they are not convinced, after meeting the Council of State and continuously meeting those emissaries sent by government, that action is being undertaken. And I'm asking you this morning, over the last 24 hours, what has been done to meet Gutta halfway or even fully?
No. The basic thing is the rate at which most of them import. And the main thing is the rate at which the dollar is running. But we are import dependent. We need that money to buy. There are sanctions all over the place. But the government...
Sanctions all over where?
I mean, there are trade sanctions against Russia and all those things that are happening. Listen. No,
I think the rate at which we trade with Ukraine...
No, listen.
Please go ahead.
When you put the issue as if it's just a Ghana issue that is happening, then we miss the point. The Bank of Ghana, for the past few months, has been at this. Now we
sank in 750 million. Drop.
Yes.
We sank in 750 million.
1.3 million for the cocoa syndicated loan.
How does the black market get access to it?
How do they get access to it? From the Bank of Ghana, it goes through the banks and it goes through the black market. So it means that government is government has been inept at it for a very long time.
It goes through the bank and goes to the bank. But you are making light about the Bank of Ghana going after the black market.
How much of that money even goes to the black market?
Let's not. Laura, so please go ahead.
Just keep quiet. The government has been putting in measures to do these things. The Ministry of Finance currently is meeting...
Guta says that nothing has been done. You are saying government is doing the Ministry of Finance. The minister is even not around.
Come on. Guta, when they started in August, was met by the Council of State to hold on. They spoke to the Council. They held on. In October. Before that, they've been agitating
they just met Council of State
before that,
on Tuesday.
They have been agitating about foreign involvement in the retail sector.
You did nothing
which has
about
to be dealt with.
What has been done?
What has been done about what?
How are we meeting Guta halfway?
How are we meeting Guta? Like I said in the beginning, it's dialogue. They're closing the shops and consumers be stranded. Doesn't make anybody win. It's dialogue. What did they say? They said when they met the Council of State, they didn't meet the ministers that can take the decision. And I think that is where we should go. There should be a dialogue. This conversation must be had so that what they are bringing on board, because
so you agree
come again.
That government needs to show a certain picture or posture, not only to the Ghanaian public, but also the trade and commerce or trading public. We need to see the president, the finance minister, and other assigns in trade, etc., meeting them so that it gives confidence to the traders to open their shops.
We are at a point where we are meeting IMF as part of the solutions to some of these problems. There's a meeting that people from the trade ministry has been sent. Guta thinks that those
in Washington, they are not worried that retail spaces...
Oh, come on.
Please go ahead. Okay.
Guta thinks that the people that they met were not up to taking the decision that they want to hear. What solves an issue is dialogue. Closing the shops. I mean, they are within their rights to do that. They also have issues. They don't see any end in sight in the external shocks that are happening. That is it. They are in the market. They are feeling what it is. Government is putting in measures to do. It has to be dialogue. That's the fundamental thing.
Okay.
Closing the shops at the end of the day affects them, affects the consumer, affects the economy.
So government wants them to reopen the shops. I'm going to... you're convinced by the response. It's dialogue. We need to dialogue with
Please, I didn't even hear anything Laratu said. Because there's...
I think it's unfair.
No, that's not
She's
unfair.
spoken literally almost 10 minutes.
No, I'm saying that, I mean, she didn't proper... Yes, she just spoke... She just...
Please don't do her like this.
She spoke... She didn't speak any solutions. You get me? She didn't say... I mean, she was just speaking good English. And that was about it. Because you see, the point is that... Roland, you have even narrowed the thing down to Guta. It is affecting everybody. This issue of the depreciation of the cedi is affecting everybody. It's affecting you because your savings.
I'm affected. I mean, to be truthful. All of us.
So if you have 20,000 savings, if you had it in 20,000, some small money in case there's a problem at home, it has depreciated. So it is not only Guta. Guta is an organized group where they can do some resistance to the effect. But it is everybody who is being affected. So for government to have a posture always blaming external shocks is problematic.
Ukraine and Russia.
Always Ukraine and Russia. COVID.
But that's true.
How true is it? The president promised us during...
They themselves refer to that.
During one of the statements or the whatever he says about COVID those days, the address, he said that the government is capable to bring back the economy, but not bring back human beings when they die. What happened to that capability? It was mere rhetoric. It is time that we made sure that we did the right thing to salvage this economy. The government has failed abysmally. The government has failed abysmally, my dear. I don't even know what to say again because there is nothing they are doing. The Cedi keeps depreciating, and they are always equalizing. And NDC, they will say it and end on NDC. That is why Ghanaians voted against NDC, because you said you can do it better. When NDC was leaving, the Cedi to the dollar was 3.6. And even that one, we said they haven't done well. So we voted against them 2 times. And you still refer to the person who lost. You still say that and they did it. How are you doing it? To make sure that it is okay for me, the Ghanaian. Roland, tell me, how are you doing it? Because when we narrow it to Guta, we make the argument very easy. We made the effect very easy. It is affecting every single household in this nation. Because this thing is affecting prices. The Cedi to dollar is affecting price, it's affecting work, it's affecting everything. Even if you're a consultant, it's affecting your work. If you're a media person, it's affecting your money, your income. Then it means that your salary should be increased to a certain level and above for you to be able to meet the cost of living. The cost of living is so high. It is amazing. It is sad. It is wonderful, and it is incongruous. It does not make sense.
It is what?
Incongruous. It does not make sense.
Beautiful English.
Do you get it? It does not make sense. Because you see, even groundnuts has been affected. In Katie, plantain.
Which is produced locally.
Plantain
for food and jobs.
Roland, please. Planting for food and jobs, and we can't see it. Plantain. Roasted plantain is now 4 cedis. Roasted plantain is 4 cedis. Everything is being affected. Meanwhile, the president is saying that he does not care. We can go to hell. We can vote for NDC. He doesn't care. The same person who came to us and begged us and said, try me. I beg you. I will do good by you. I will change this nation. Today he's telling us that bagger of Giddy gone. I don't need you. You are complaining too much. What else should we do? Who is supposed to help us? Because you see, when you become the president of a nation, you become the servant to the people. You work for the people. You have to ensure that the people are looked after.
How should government meet Guta halfway? She says, and I think she's speaking from the point of the corridors of power, what they are doing as the Nanado-led government to meet Guta halfway or fully. But what should be the real sense of urgency in this?
Roland, you see, Nanaya said something, that this depreciation affects all of us. The middle class, I don't know if you've tuned your mind to this yet. You guys should start doing send your guys out. Inquire from those who have taken mortgages in dollars. 20-year mortgages. At the time when they took the money, it was 1:4. They were spending like 2,000, 3,000 so they could own their own homes. Today, they are now spending well over 6,000, 7,000, 8,000 when their income does not even add up to that figure because of the incompetence of this administration. It is not just those who have the middle class who have taken mortgages. Those who are educating their children outside, because this educational system has been allowed to break down, and all we are interested in is wholesale production of people without requisite skills and quality and content. Today, it is a crime to want to do a long-distance program in any school outside Ghana because the fees alone is killing.
Because of the forex.
Yesterday, friends of mine were having a chat about the price of an air ticket today. Hey, and I was like, Jesus Christ, I go for the market.
Don't go there. Gabby, don't go there.
Hey, people are paying 90,000 cedis, 100,000 for air tickets. Because of the depreciation of this currency. Akufo-Addo's #1 social intervention from the very day he walked into Jubilee House was poverty and hardship on the people of Ghana. And it is the one thing that he has systematically deployed and achieved since he came into office. You want us to meet Gota halfway. How are they going to meet Gota halfway? They need dollars. They need dollars. Where is the dollars? You need the dollar to shore up the paper dollar for the city to stabilize. Without the actual dollars, what happens? They are holding their dollars in their safes in their homes as a store of value. So whenever any dollar hits this economy, they are the first to grab it. And then the rest, they will allow the currency to depreciate. Our wealth will depreciate. Standard of living will reduce. Inflation keeps going higher and higher, and we become poorer and poorer. And that is what excites Akufo-Addo and